What's up? I'm back with another video. So we got Will in the Type R in the garage right now. We're going to be doing the downpipe on his car. It's going to be a PRL Catless Downpipe. So we're just going to do a quick exhaust note. We're going to do a quick exhaust note video. So this is going to be stock exhaust, stock downpipe. It just has an intake. You could definitely hear the intake over the exhaust itself. So we're going to do that really quick, then work on the car. I'll show you guys how to do everything, as well as pointing out some of the other stuff we did on the car. So we're going to do a stock exhaust note on Will's Type R. So this is just the stock catback, stock downpipe, everything stock. He does have an intake though, so it might sound a little bit throaty or something, but I kind of doubt it. You could definitely hear the intake when he revs it over the exhaust at this point, so we definitely have to make it louder. So I am going to be showing you guys how to put the PRL downpipe in on a Type R like this, the FK8. Then we're going to be doing a after exhaust, obviously, because you can't do a before without the after. So as you guys can hear, the Type R is horribly quiet from stock. A lot of people complain about it. The car does sound good once it has an exhaust, but as you guys just heard, that was pretty pathetic. So we definitely need to get this downpipe in for Will's car. So as you guys can see, Will started working on the intake, so he started to take off this piece right here. Then eventually you are going to have to take off the actual intake itself, and you're going to have to remove the downpipe, so we will jump around a little bit. Right now I'm going to let the video go of him actually removing the intake pipe itself, because we haven't put that in the last couple of videos. So we did do the intake blanket by PTP and the turbo blanket by PTP. Both of those I'll link in the description down if you want to see those videos. So right now, like I said, Will's going to start taking everything apart, and I'll jump back to it in a little bit. So the car is still relatively hot, so that's why Will has gloves on right now. You just saw us take the intake pipe out itself. Next up, we have to just get to the downpipe itself. There are these 4 bolts right here, which I'll move the camera and show you guys as we take it out. You gotta be really careful with these because they actually go into the turbo itself. So you want to make sure you don't strip them, anything like that. You don't want to cross thread them when they come off. You want to make sure they come off really nice and easy. Don't force it. So when you guys do a downpipe, I would definitely recommend doing the intake blanket, the turbo blanket, and the downpipe all at once, just because you have to do everything to get it to the end. We've basically done this same process 3 times now. We don't really care because it's not that hard of an issue to do, especially once you've done it once or twice, but definitely recommend just getting it all done with once if you have the money to do it. So Will just took out the O2 sensor. You're going to need one of these O2 sockets, otherwise you won't be able to get it because it does sit in this weird bezel piece itself. So in order to do that, you're going to have to need one of these. Also, when you do take off the downpipe, if you haven't done anything to the car yet, there will be a heat shield here that will be in the way. You could check that out in the last video. Obviously we have the PTP turbo blanket on here. So obviously you guys are going to have to take the bolts out to get the downpipe off. So there are the 2 bolts right up top, and then a little lower on the left and the right side. It's a little hard for me to show you because it's a little dark. When you guys do take this out, you will have to remove the O2 sensor just to get it out, but you can leave it in the bung itself, just so when you pull it out, but you want the extra slack, so that way when you pull it down it doesn't get caught on anything. Once it's out of the car, you can then remove the O2 from the bung hole itself. Bung hole. Only 6 months?
Yep.
Fire! Fire! So when you guys take these bolts out, you definitely want to make sure that everything, when you guys take these out, you want to make sure everything is properly lubricated so everything comes out. Especially if you have an older car, if you're doing this years after we record this. This car only has 13,000 miles, it's only been on the road for about 6 months, and it is kind of still giving us a hard time. This isn't the first time we've taken this out, so it's a little easier than it might be the first time breaking the initial oomph that Honda puts on it. Once we finish getting the bolts out, then we're going to put the car up in the air and take it off from the cat pack itself. So we're underneath the car now. If you guys are going to be getting to the downpipe, you have to just take off this metal skid plate. That's all you have to take off. So we're just going to take that off really quick. There's all these quarter turn bolts and the hardware right up in the front. So right now Will is underneath the car. He's disconnecting the front pipe from the downpipe itself. There is a bracket that connects to the downpipe so that way it's not just flopping around loose in there. On a later date we'll probably be changing the cat back, which would eventually change the front pipe with this flex pipe in it right here. So we're just going to take all of these bolts out really quick and we'll get back to us pulling out the downpipe itself.
Definitely not the conventional way of getting that out.
It's definitely easier than going down. Debatable.
So like you guys just saw, we took the downpipe out from the top. We did that because underneath the car, the plastic skid plate that's down there was in the way. We couldn't really get it out. So we ended up pulling up. We were a little lazy. We definitely could have taken that piece out and would have gotten out of the way, but it came up easy. There was nothing that got caught. The O2 sensor is still in place, so you know, there's plenty of room for it to come out. We got the OEM downpipe out. We also got the heat shield off of it. All the O2 sensors are out of it. Everything's on this piece of cardboard over here. So now we have the PRL downpipe. This one we're going to heat wrap with this volcanic heat wrap. So what we're going to need is, oh no, this one's actually copper. You can tell because it's like a brownish copper color versus like the yellowy carbon Kevlar kind of colors. We're going to use one of these metal zip ties to keep it in place up top and then wrap it down. We want to make sure that we don't cover up any of the bung holes. We are also going to try and reuse the heat shield because the PRL downpipe does have holes for it. So we're going to try and keep this as cool as we can. So if we can't get to it, then at least it will have the copper heat wrap on it. So you're probably going to want to use gloves when you do this because this stuff is pretty itchy, especially if you have sensitive skin. So we're going to just start with this around the top, and like I said, we're going to use this steel zip tie kind of thing to hold everything in place. we finished wrapping up the downpipe with the copper heat wrap, and we were able to put the OEM heat shield back on it. PRL does give you these two spacers right here and here that you can reuse with these longer bolts in order to reuse the OEM heat shield, so if you don't end up wrapping it, you at least have this to keep down some of the heat, so definitely recommend doing it. Now we're going to put the downpipe back into place. We have to put the O2 sensor in right here, and the extra one is going to be right up top. So you guys just saw we just put the downpipe back in place. We're going to have to go underneath the car and connect it to the front pipe, but for right now everything up top is done. We're going to have to eventually put the intake and everything back up top, but for the downpipe itself, that is all finished. The bolts are all back in. Like I said before, make sure you are super careful taking these bolts out. They are very, very fragile. So definitely plan to not be driving for a little while in case anything does happen. Will's putting the intake back on right now. We're going to just wrap up everything up top first and then just do the downpipe connection underneath the car and put the skid plate back on just to finish this video up. So everything's going to go on the same way it came off the last two videos where we did the intake blanket, the turbo blanket, and obviously now with the downpipe. So obviously some of the bolts are going to be, or obviously some of the clips are not going to line up the same place because the intake blanket is on. So there was just some maneuvering, some zip ties that have to go in place. Then once everything is back into place, we'll do another startup video with the Catless Downpipe. So we finished putting everything up top on Will's car, so the intake is all back together. He's putting his engine cover, valve cover thing on. So once we're done with that, we are just going to finish wrapping everything up, get the garage clean, and then do the aftermarket exhaust clip. Right now we're in the Type R. Will is just flashing his K-tuner right now, so that way we have the downpipe tune on it. Then we're going to be doing a startup video. Good. Surprisingly, actually I take that back. So it is now a couple days after the last clip of Will's car revving with the downpipe in. So the video really doesn't do it too much justice. Also, it was just revving in neutral. The car definitely is a lot louder now a couple days later, although it is still nowhere near as loud as just like a muffler delete. The mufflers on the Type R are ridiculously big. So they're actually really good at suppressing sound. Even though the car is catless, it still sounded pretty stock. You could definitely still hear the intake over the exhaust in the clips that you guys just heard. So if you guys are trying to get the Type R to be a little bit louder, I would definitely look into getting a cat back or an axle back or something around the lines of that. Will stated that after doing some pulls with some load, the car was a little bit louder, but still nothing crazy. The audio didn't really pick it up too much, but with the Catless Downpipe, you could definitely hear the turbo spooling more inside the car and a little bit of the outside of the car, but although the decibel really wasn't too much louder. So if you guys do have any questions on the install, definitely leave a comment, or you guys can hit us up on Instagram, either myself or Will. We will both be in the description. But aside from that, it was a pretty straightforward install, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys in the next one.